All right, guys, I'm going to show y'all how to grid out your boards in order to put your letters in here. And so whenever you're completely done, it's going to look something like this, okay? Where your letters are on here and we wrote them down in chalk. If you notice, all the letters are the same size, and the reason that they're the same size is that when we grid it out, your letters will touch the top and the bottom line in that particular row. There's a space built in here. See how they touch the top and the bottom? That way they're all the same height. As far as they're being spaced out, we're going to use these spaces here to space out our letters equally. Okay, and so I'll show you how we do that. On your board, it's 3 foot long, your 1x12, and you're going to take your tape measure and you're going to mark your vertical lines first. Over here on this board, y'all turn and look at that. I wrote the instructions. Okay, it says vertical lines, which go up and down, are placed every 2 1/4 of an inch. You start on one side and you go all the way across. I got a little example there where it says vertical lines, how we're going to do that. Okay, so notice it says 2 1/4, 4 1/2, 6 3/4. All right, Mr. Wade. So you're going to take your tape measure like this and go all the way across the center of your board, and you're going to mark it 2 1/4. The next one is 4 1/2, 6 3/4, 9. Every one of them is 2 1/4 wide. So what comes after 9? 11 1/4, very good. After 11 1/4 is? 14? 13 1/2, okay. What's after that one? 15 3/4. Next one? All right. So it's gonna go 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, whole as you go down your board, okay? That's how I want you to do it. I don't want you to take a ruler and go 2/4, then move 2/4 like that, okay? I want you to think a little bit, add some fractions together, use the tape measure like that. So after you have drawn those lines all the way across your board, okay, now you're gonna take your speed square and you're gonna draw that vertical line lightly on your board. So what we're doing is we're putting all our vertical lines on. And then also you can flip it over like this and do the bottom side of it. All right. That's as far as I'm going to go. All right. The next thing we do is we do the horizontal lines. Okay. On the board over here it says the measurements for the horizontal lines. You look, it says we measure from the top of the board. Okay. 3/4 of an inch, 3 1/2, 3 1/2, 4 1/4, 7, 7 3/4, and 10 1/2. We're going to mark each side. That way we can take a ruler and put it on each mark and draw that straight line. Okay? So here's how you do that. The first one was 3/4. The next one was 3 1/2. The next one is 4 1/4. The next one is 7. And then you go down to 7 3/4 and 10 1/2. That was one side. We'll move over here and do this one. There's a 3/4, there's our 3 1/2, 4 1/4, 7, and keep going down. You take your straight edge, put it on your lines, lightly draw your horizontal line. We'll do one more. So when you get through, you will have your squares, okay? You should have 16 equally spaced squares going across the same size, okay? If you get down here to the end and this one's smaller than this one up here in the beginning, something's not right and you're off, okay? Now, after you've got everything gridded off, now we're gonna put our letters Brock FFA across the top, okay? So I'm kind of helping you out with this example. We're gonna start with a space, 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 and then we BROCK, space, space, FFA, space, space, space. That puts everything centered, okay? So I'm gonna do that on mine. I'm gonna write a little B, or go space, 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 and then my little B, R, O, C, K, then my space, and so on, okay? After you get it all on there, now you can come in here and you're gonna draw your letter. It's a large capital letter touching the top and the bottom of the line. So I just take my pencil and I just kind of sketch it. It does not need to touch the edges, okay? If it touches the edges, then our letters are gonna come together too close, okay? And you can just make them nice, neat capital letters. like that, okay? And make sure they touch the top and the bottom, like I said, that way you don't have to redo it, okay? On member, you have a choice here. You can just do member without the date. If you choose to do that, then it's a space, 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 which is 5 spaces. And then you start into member, and then you have five spaces on that side. If you want to put the date on it, if you want to do date, it's going to go like this: space, space, MEMBER, space, space, 2023 for 2023, space, space. Okay, that's up to you, but it must say member. The last one is for your name. Now your name is kind of a little difficult because everybody's going to be different. Based on how many letters is in your first and last name is how the spacing works out. Okay, so Nate Massey, okay, we'll count those up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in his name, but we got to have a space in here. 11 with the space. We need an even number. 11 is not an even number, and so we're going to add another space right here to get an even number. Okay, so now we're at 12. Everybody follow me? So now we have 12. That tells us with 16 spaces that our first two and our last two are going to be blank, and everything will be centered. Does that make sense? Okay, I can help you with that when it comes down to doing your name to make sure that you're correct. After you have all your letters on there, you're going to grab a piece of chalk. I think the chalk's right over there. Okay. After I have seen it, you're going to take the chalk, you're going to kind of hold it on its edge, and you're going to go over your letter so you can see it really well whenever you're routering. Okay? You can either do this, or you can take your pencil and kind of darken it in and make it a little bit wider. It's up to you, but that makes it a little bit easier to see. Okay? Any questions? All right, y'all's boards are over there. Y'all can spread out, and y'all can get started.